kind of back-to-back timeouts there early in the third quarter. What was the message that you were trying to get across to
Play
your
harder.
team?
Play harder. Be more locked in. We talked about at halftime sprinting the floor in transition, sprinting back. Did 15 fast break points in the first half. I think 4, or no, maybe 2 just off the turnover there to start the. But urgency, play harder.
You tried to push a lot of buttons here in the last week or so
Yeah.
with this team. What's the next button that can be pushed to push this thing forward?
I don't know what it is right now, but I'll find a way to find it. It's you got to give credit to Michigan because they just played harder than we did. For a majority of the game, I thought we had different lineups and different players individually play hard, but collectively as a unit, I thought we just got punched. I think one play specifically summed up the game for me in the second half. Olivia Olson dove on a ball in front of the Michigan bench that she didn't need to dive on, but it was that like, I'm going to get on the floor, I'm going to be dirty, I'm going to play harder kind of mentality that Michigan had that we did not have. No one was around her. The ball wasn't in jeopardy of going out of bounds, but she was intentional about getting on the floor, and that's everything that we've preached to our ball club in practice. It's everything that we actually did against UCLA. I know the final score doesn't say that, but our goals that we needed to meet against UCLA, obviously the end of the score is not it, but like little goals that we set out, we actually competed. We completed some of those goals. We were able to check some of those off. Today not, and I thought the play by Olivia Olson was it just kind of summed up the game from my point of view.
Beyond, obviously, you talked about their effort, but what did Michigan do offensively that made them so difficult to stop today?
Oh, they just put the ball down on the floor and drove it down our throat. And then when we did go zone, they made shots. Mia doesn't shoot it that well from the outside all year, and she comes out and strokes it with confidence. But I thought they just put it down our throat. In transition, we like to keep the ball on one side of the floor, but we were allowing the point guard to, we were allowing Holloway to kind of like slice the floor, and so we were always scrambling, especially there in the first half because we weren't doing a good job of keeping the ball on one side of the floor, and then they were just able to pick us apart, and now you're in scramble mode, and Michigan just put it right down our throat.
And was that stuff you guys had scouted for and had kind of expected to be a problem, or?
No, I think, obviously they push hard in transition. They got 5 guards out, and they can all bring the ball up the floor. And so we talked a lot about trying to keep the ball on one side of the floor in transition. Not just today, obviously that's something we want to do all the time, but I thought especially in the first half where Michigan kind of took control of the game, they were able to do whatever they wanted against us.
And how does having 5 shooters on the floor
it's impossible, man. It's
make
hard.
Michigan so much harder to guard when their guards are attacking the basket going downhill? Yeah,
it's tough because they just space you out. And so if you don't have the ability to guard the basketball and just kind of like guard your yard or keep the ball in front of you, it puts a lot of pressure on you. And one thing we talked about when the ball goes on the floor, they don't really like to kick it out. So when the ball goes on the floor, dig it in, take a charge, and we didn't do that today.
And then I just want to clarify, when you mentioned someone shooting the 3 better than usual today, were you talking about Mila Holloway?
Yeah, Holloway. She shot it pretty well today. Yeah, I mean she shoots it well, right? But today she was exceptional, right? Like if you think of like 3-point threats like on their team, that's probably the last one in their lineup that you probably look at in that starting group. You think of the other 4 first, and then she came out and stroked it pretty well.
Coach, can you talk about just the mixture of lineups? I mean,
trying to get a little bit more juice to start the game. Thought Jordy and KP have the ability to make plays for themselves. Just trying to get a little bit more juice. Thought KP brought us that.
Yeah. As far as Kendall's energy and having that rub off on the rest of the team, I mean,
the kid hates to lose. She wants to be great. Obviously, she's still learning, and but she wears every emotion on her face, and I know you can see it when you watch her play. But the kid's gonna be great.
Do you obviously want some of that to reflect off that team? Like, is it a point where you want these girls to realize like it hurts to lose and it has to hurt.
Yeah, obviously, like hate losing more than you like to win. Like that's kind of what we've been trying to preach. And I want a team that gets out there and plays as hard as you possibly can and has competitive spirit every single possession of every single game, no matter who you're playing. I thought we had competitive spirit against UCLA. I thought we were actually a little bit more physical against UCLA than we were today. And we did not bring that today. So we got to find a group that wants to bring competitive spirit every single day. And ultimately that starts on me trying to get us in better spots to have a little bit more success in that manner.
Coach, Reagan Bass had only 9 points in the last 3 games, but she had 8 today. What were your thoughts on her performance?
She knocked down a couple shots, crashed the offensive glass. I think she drove one in the second half. Got to play off two when you're little and give shot fakes and whatnot. But we need number 34 to have a lot more success on the court than what she had today for us to have success.
Ella said part of the message at one point, or maybe a few points during timeouts tonight, was that maybe a few players were playing selfish. Could you expand on that a little bit?
I don't know if it's sometimes when things start to go the other way, and when you face adversity, it's easy to kind of like let go of that rope, right? The selfish is not a term in terms of like I'm not passing the ball or whatever it is. It's hey, everybody's got to grab onto this rope and hold it tighter, right? Because if I start to let loose, my rope grabs slack. So when shit gets hard, grab onto the rope tighter, and be there for each other.
How do you feel the team played or has been playing in low clock situations in the last 30, 20, or 10 seconds of a quarter?
Honestly, I actually like when Spider has the ball in a high on ball. I thought we've made some good decisions when the ball's in her hands.